Imagine yourself for a second as a Maasai villager. You live in the shadow of Mount Meru. You're 15 and life is made up of the daily chores of survival. Disease is rampant and it makes orphans of your friends. There are no hospitals anywhere near here, nor social workers for that matter. So when your best friend gets depressed and you walk in on them trying to kill themselves, you're the only help they've got.
My friend is trying to got death because of death of her uncle.
That uncle was his friend's last remaining relative and caretaker. God Love Israel Wilson is part of the first generation in Tanzania to learn about the signs and symptoms of depression and anxiety. When his friend got depressed, Godlove kept close watch. One day, he was close enough to stop his friend's suicide attempt.
That friend is going to say to me, thank you, because you're helping me. Even it is not you, I can go to death.
For the very first time in the country's history, there's a concerted effort to teach young people like Godlove how to cope with anxiety and depression. There are thousands of others just like him, strengthening their communities and reimagining their country's future. It's Saturday afternoon in a small village in southern Malawi, and no one is standing still. This is the kind of party people here hardly ever see. A big-name singer, the streets full of people, and an important message. It may be difficult to believe, but this celebration is all about breaking the stigma of mental illness.
It has been so dramatic because a lot of youth have lost their life, failing to succeed in their life, so they think they are nothing. They believe they can't achieve anything.
But that is changing. Hundreds of people across Malawi and Tanzania are coming together to take mental health issues out of the shadows and into the sunlight. It seems like just another school day in Arusha, but today is a very special one for a lot of these students. They're looking forward to a class that is different from all the rest. And in neighboring Malawi, hundreds of school kids are doing the very same thing, tuning in to these guys. The two most popular celebrities on the country's airwaves.
Back on air.
Dictator and Joy are household names for many young people in Malawi. They're well-known hip-hop artists, famous for their musical talents. When they speak, young people listen. And surprisingly, their most popular radio show is all about mental health, a show created by Canadian NGO Farm Radio International and Farm Radio Trust in Malawi.
The Farm Radio Trust, they conducted a research, mostly in the Central Region, to find out who the youth prefer listening to, right? And he came number one. I came number one. He came number one. But also they were looking at the fact that who is the most depressed youth in Malawi who can share his depression with the people. So they found that he's number one. So say it again, you know what? He's number one.
It's that ability to discuss a very delicate issue in lighthearted ways that has helped Dictator and Joy win over so many young fans. People here say that 2 years ago, when the show started, there really weren't any words in the local language to specifically describe depression and anxiety. Now, Dictator and Joy say the floodgates are open, and when they take their show on the road, the stories start to pour out.
There was one time in Lilongwe, we went to interview girls and to ask them, do they have suicidal thoughts? And she opened up to us and told us the most personal issues to say, look, I have got voices telling me to kill myself, which is not easy for one just to open up to maybe someone out there just like us.
It's a similar story across the border in Tanzania. That's where Farm Radio International has implemented another radio show about mental health. This one called Positive Mood and hosted by well-known personality Goodluck Kisanga.
Positive mood!
Two shows with one purpose.
Positive mood!
We try to mix entertainment and the mental health issues. We know mental health issues are not exciting on their own.
The goal is to get young people to understand common mental health problems and to seek help before it's too late. The challenge, though, is finding a way to connect with youth. So the shows are packed with the latest hip-hop music and celebrity interviews.
When we have maybe a celebrity in the show, we normally ask them the kind of problems they face and how they deal with those situations. Kids know that these are people, they also face problems. So if a celebrity is going through something like that, I can also go through that.
One of the most popular segments on the radio show is a drama series. Think Degrassi Junior High African style. In the drama, the characters go through typical issues faced by young people. In one episode, the main character is a pregnant teen. Her name is Bahati. She's been kicked out of school. She's depressed, and she's about to contemplate killing herself.
Not only one, there are so many people like Bahati. In my community, there is one girl. She carried the pregnant while she was at school. Then the school decided to chase her away from school. For that, she feel that when I go back to school, my friends will laugh at me, so I can go to school again.
Schools across Malawi and Tanzania have created listening clubs that give students a chance to discuss the issues free of judgment. After each show, teachers and counselors open up a discussion. The story becomes a vehicle for questions about mental health, but instead of revealing their own problems, students use the characters as proxies, ways to discuss what's bothering them and what they can do about it.
After get baby, where can you go?
This 15-year-old has a seemingly endless number of hypothetical questions, but privately it becomes clear they're rooted in something that's very real. She says she was walking to school when a woman offered her a ride, and then she took her to a house where she was sexually assaulted. She says she spent months feeling physically ill in a state of what she now recognizes as depression. Luckily, her teachers were able to notice the signs of trauma, and that's because they've been newly trained as part of a program to adapt a Canadian mental health curriculum to African schools. They're giving students important tools to take back to their communities.
The way to home.
Students like Godlove Israel Wilson, he says the skills he's learned have taught him how to open up a dialogue around mental health and to make sure everyone in his community knows that they're not alone.
He can help us for teaching about how we can prevent stress. With the many people who have depression, we can treat her.
Godlove has become a community leader with the skills he's learned in his listening club. And at the schools that have participated in the program, teachers, too, are seeing some very tangible change.
Now, whatever you have taken from this place, please try to help others who are out there. In the past, maybe 2 years ago, we had a lot of students who were thinking that maybe this is not their place, maybe they should just disappear, it's better not to leave, things like that. But this time around, I think we have very few.
And so, There is a lot to celebrate, including an unlikely pair of hip-hop hosts who have now made talking about mental health cool. So when the hosts hit the town, it's a party. Hundreds of teams are drawn out by the hosts, the celebrities, the music, and the message that their entire community is in this together, and they're not alone.
Everyone who I just hear that there's in Kawanje somewhere, you can like there to see what is happening. They now have a belief that what they are, they believe in themselves and they have their ability. And now they are strong enough.
You wouldn't expect it even just 2 years ago. And this program, Kawanje, is changing the culture of the youth in Malawi because they're now opening up to talk about depression, to talk about whenever they're stressed, depressed, they're now opening up. Because of Kawanje, even him, he tells me... As my presenter is like, boss, I mean, hey...
I have this problem.
I've got this problem. Help me solve it. I'm like, but dude, I'm only just your producer. He thinks I'm an expert now.
But the show's funding is running out, and the show could soon be over. And many people here say that would be a tragedy.
We are saying we are building the youth to be the next leaders. So if we have youth who are mentally disturbed, who are stressed, how do we have good leaders? We don't.
Hiki chakula cha bongo, foodie, uko na positive mood, yani positive mood, goody, goody,